Hello, everyone. Welcome to Money Hour Radio, a show where we try to help you grow your money, pay less taxes, and have a beautiful retirement. I am one of your co-hosts, Ben Barzideh. I have my esteemed co-host, Matt Nadeau here.
Hey, everyone.
And we are both founding partners and wealth managers at Barzideh and Nadeau Wealth Management, a comprehensive financial planning firm located locally right here in Barrington and serving the greater Chicagoland area. And we are fiduciaries. And as an independent, family-owned firm, we truly have the freedom to focus solely on your interests, not some corporations or those shady private equity companies that are buying everything up these days. Our values and what we stand for is the polar opposite of them and their business model.
And as always, we're going to take a moment, say hi to all of our clients who are listening today. We also want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas coming up. You won't hear us again until after Christmas, so we hope it's wonderful. And I do not want to wish a Merry Christmas to those private equity companies.
Yeah, we don't like you guys.
Yeah, they're like the opposite of Santa. They just take instead of give. But anyway, if you're one of our clients and one of our faithful listeners, thank you so much. We appreciate the trust that you place in us. And of course, we love every one of you. And we have a great show planned for today. You know, first of all, in this first segment, we're going to talk about Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
Is the rally coming? We'll see. And then we're going to talk about the job market. And a lot of people are starting to call this the no hire, no fire job market. We're going to tell you what that is, why it's a hire and a no fire job market. And then we want to talk about if we're starting to see a great rotation in the stock market. Is there going to be a new leadership that begins? And what does that mean? And then on our next segment, you're not going to want to go away. We have an extremely special segment. We have a guest coming in with a Christmas message from Willow Creek Huntley church pastor, Todd. You do not want to miss it.
I can't wait. It's going to be excellent. But before we start, we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel on moneyhourradio.com, where you can view this week's episode along with all the previous ones. You can also subscribe to our weekly economic newsletter that's called the 5-Minute Market Brief. It's informative, succinct, easy to read. We get so much good reviews on it. You can sign up for it at bnwealth.com. And then lastly, please follow us online at our social media pages, BN Wealth, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff.
All right, let's jump into this first topic. And we're going to be talking about Santa. Ho, ho, ho. Well, no, you'll hear this and he's coming this week. But really, we're talking about, is the Santa Claus rally coming? Is it on its way, just like Santa? So historically, December is one of the best months for the stock market. It's actually second only to November. And it's averaged about 1.4% return over the last 75 years. And it actually has a win rate where it's been positive 73.3% of the time.
Good odds.
Yeah, those are great. I wish we could do that all the time. So interestingly, however, the above average performance is all due to the second half of the month, as nearly 100% of December's average returns since 1950 have come from the back half of December. So are we going to get a Santa Claus rally this year? Well, the lower than expected inflation numbers we just got, that might put the gas to the fire and give us the Santa Claus rally we need.
No doubt. There was a big pop in the market this week after I came out. So let's transition. We want to shift to the jobs market, the no hire, no fire jobs market. And the much anticipated November and October jobs report came out this week. And they were combined because the government was, of course, shut down, and that delayed the October report. And guess what it showed? No one's hiring, but hey, no one's firing either. And is that good? Is it bad? What does that mean? Honestly, do we even trust the jobs numbers? Right?
Especially old delayed ones from October. They're like, whatever.
Of course. So let's assume for a moment that they are accurate. And of course, that's a big stretch lately. So the private sector of the economy added an average of 75,000 new jobs from September to November. And that's not so good when compared to, let's say, the 10-year period from 2010 to 2019, when we averaged 180,000 new jobs a month in that span.
Ben, that sounds terrible, adding only 75,000 jobs compared to that old number. But what's interesting, though, is economists are actually pretty united in the view that the economy may no longer be capable of adding so many new jobs a month as we used to. And the question is, all right, if that's true, why not? And the working age population is growing more slowly now because of declining birth rates. Then you add the ongoing retirement of the baby boomer generation. And then lastly, not to get political, you know I don't like to, Ben, but a bunch of people are getting deported as
Oh
well.
gosh.
Yeah. Well, they count for some of those jobs. So economists say we probably only really need to add about 50,000 new jobs a month to soak up all the new people entering the labor force and keep the unemployment range unchanged. So if we look at that measure, things are actually looking all right.
No doubt. And unemployment actually jumped in this report from 4.4% to 4.6%. But that was mainly due to 160,000 government workers getting furloughed from the Doge cuts that happened earlier this year. That all hit the report. So far, it seems like the jobs market is holding up. It is something to watch, though, because if those continue to deteriorate or if something falls through the cracks, then we might be having some problems. So we'll be monitoring it very closely. Now, I want to pivot and talk about, is the great rotation that we've been looking for in the stock market underway? And here's what we're talking about. So one important development in the market recently is what we view as potentially the beginnings of this massive rotation happening beneath the surface, something we've been watching for. Recently, there's been a cooling in AI enthusiasm and tech and a shift towards value sectors. And earnings from several large technology companies have raised questions about whether the massive capital spending on AI infrastructure will actually translate into near-term profits or not.
Yeah, and this doesn't mean like AI is over. Rather, markets are going to start differentiating between what's long-term potential and short-term return on investment. So as a result, leadership has started to broaden out beyond these mega cap tech stocks into other areas of the market. And that's actually a good thing. That's something we view as a healthy evolution rather than a negative signal. So if you look underneath the surface, this underlying market action is showing money flows are now increasing into areas like value stocks over growth, like you mentioned, Ben, small and mid cap companies over these mega cap companies, and cyclical sectors that are tied to economic activity over some of the more defensive areas.
What's interesting is this rotation suggests that investors are positioning for a more balanced market environment next year in 2026, rather than the one we had this year, which was just dominated by a narrow group of technology stocks. So these changes and trends are very important for us to monitor closely because it actually affects what areas we allocate money to in our advance and protect tactical strategies that we manage for our existing client portfolios. And as some of our listening audience may know, instead of just blindly investing into every area of the market, with our process, we intelligently diversify and move our positions towards areas with rising momentum and strength, while we try to avoid areas that are breaking down or lagging. And that's why this entire year, we've predominantly been investing in growth areas, large cap, tech, international. We have gold, silver, copper in our portfolios. We have a sleeve specifically for the Magnificent Seven stocks. And we're having a fantastic year of performances, making money for our clients.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. And along those lines, we've actually stayed away from value areas and small cap and mid cap. They've all been underperforming this year. And we're starting to see some of that change. And we've seen a meaningful surge into small cap value, small cap blend. And if that trend continues, we could include those areas in our portfolio as we reevaluate for the first quarter of 2026. I mean, Ben, that reminds me of at the end of 2020 when we had that surge in tech. In early 2021, we moved to small and mid cap, and it dominated as it made that shift. So you got to be nimble.
Great point.
And again, we're very bullish. We're heavily invested in equities. We've not taken our foot off the gas. And in fact, in our more growth-oriented models, we are pedal to the metal, 100% equities, and we have been for months. But we monitor those investments every single day. And if the market conditions deteriorate, we will get defensive and we will do something most advisors would never think of, which is actually sell out of the stock market and go heavier into bonds or cash while we wait for things to improve.
All right, don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to have a special segment with Willow Creek Huntley pastor Todd Catter, and he's going to share a message for us during this Christmas season.
Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. This is Money Hour Radio, a show where we try and help you grow your money, pay less taxes, and of course, have a beautiful retirement. I'm one of your co-hosts, Matt Nadeau. I've got with me my trusted sidekick and other co-host, Ben Barzideh.
Hello, everyone.
And we also have another guest. We're going to get to him pretty soon here, Todd Catter. How you doing, Todd?
I am doing well today.
All right. Well, Ben and I are, of course, founding partners over here at and wealth managers at Barzideh and Nadeau Wealth Management. We're a comprehensive financial planning firm. We're local, we're independent, right here in Barrington, and we're serving the greater Chicagoland area. And as you know, if you've listened, we have a very simple motto: do great work, have fun, and give back. And we believe that with prosperity comes purpose. And when we started our firm, it was important for us to have a culture of giving ingrained into our company's DNA. And we do that through the charitable arm of our company, and it's called BN Giving. And it's a way for us to invest in your purpose with you.
And here's how it works. If you become one of our clients and you're a faithful tither or giver to a qualified 501c3 charity, just let us know. Each year, we will match your donation up to 10% of the management fee that you pay us. And by partnering with our clients, we aim to align our values and amplify the giving. And as our firm grows, so does the positive impact that we can co-create. And it's a beautiful concept. We're very proud of it. It's unique to our firm. Since it is the Christmas season and the giving season, we have the honor of welcoming a very special guest today, our favorite pastor in the whole wide world, and Willow Creek Huntley's very own senior pastor, Todd Catter.
Thank you. And I should say I'm the campus pastor of Willow Creek Huntley, but man, that was such a kind introduction. Wow, I did not deserve that. But the holiday greetings are felt very deeply by me right now.
Well, welcome, Todd. And again, thank you for coming to our show. We're so excited to have you on. And Todd has a beautiful family, by the way. Him and his wife, Elise, and their two adorable young boys, Nathan and Graham, which I think they're right around the same age as my youngest, Todd. But so how we know Todd is he's the pastor at our church we attend. So maybe we're a little biased, but he is our favorite. So we go to Willow Creek Community Church in Huntley. My wife and I moved there in 2012, and Willow Huntley has been our church home since. My daughter is involved in the junior high ministry there. We absolutely love our church. We're incredibly proud to be part of Willow. And Todd's leadership and the rest of his team is a big reason why. So shout out to Lee and Bree also.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And hey, here's something for our listening audience you might find interesting about Todd. In another life, I think you were a big shot CPA in the city, working for like a major well-known accounting firm. Until God, of course, called you to ministry. And when the big guy calls, you pick up, right? You don't put that one to voicemail.
That's right. I don't know if I was a big shot, but I did have the privilege of having my CPA and working downtown and doing finance and just, blessing clients in that way.
Wonderful. Well, same way accountants have a busy season around tax time, there's also maybe a busy season for pastors and oftentimes around Christmas. So we really appreciate you taking the time. Let's just jump right in. Since Christmas and the holiday season can be stressful or lonely time for many. Todd, we just ask if you could start by sharing maybe an encouraging word, something that reminds us about the real reason for the season. And then later we'll get into what's happening at Willow this Christmas.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, thanks so much. Just appreciate your guys' gracious, kind words. And it is a privilege to be a pastor in every season, but honestly, especially in the Christmas season. And I have had the privilege of being a pastor for about 18 years. I was in finance for about 7 years prior to that, worked in the city. But as a pastor, what I've found is the holidays have what I would call an amplification effect on whatever we're already facing in our life. So if you're facing something great, often the holidays make it even greater. Like the highs are higher. But if you're going through a hard season, I often find that the hard gets harder, like the lows that you're navigating can feel even lower. So the first thing that I'll encourage others to do, and even myself to do, is just give yourself extra grace in this season, because it is a challenging season. And the second thing is also do your best to give your loved ones and your friends, also that extra grace, because there's just an extra amount of pressure with the amplification effect of what's going on around the holidays. And like for me, as I've been thinking about, Christmas 2025, what does it mean in our world, as a faith leader, like the word that's come to mind for me is really the word of hope. And, John chapter 1, verse 5, John is one of these books that talks about the life of Jesus. And it says that the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. I think sometimes we can see our world and we can read the news and we can feel like, yes, there is darkness out there, but Christmas reminds us that the light is greater than the darkness and that there is hope even in the most challenging of circumstance. And again, as a Christian, I believe with all my heart that there is a unique hope that is found in Jesus. And that's what Christmas is all about. So my prayer for people is that no matter what their faith background is that they would experience hope in a unique way in this Christmas season, and especially that many might even encounter Jesus in this season, whether it's through the music or the message or just the atmosphere that Christmas brings. I think Christmas is a time of hope, and I think especially in a season like this, I think we all could use a little bit of extra hope.
Thank you, Todd. That was
Thanks.
beautiful. Thanks for blessing us with that message. Well, I want to transition to how certainly this is the giving time of the season, like we spoke about earlier. Can you please share with us, maybe highlight some giving initiatives that we're doing right now at Willow Creek Huntley this season? Many of our listening audience, Todd, they're strong Christians, they're givers, and they may want to donate to a good cause.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, I think, we have the privilege as a church of, just giving back to our community. And the way that we do that at Willow is called our year-end fund. And I love our year-end fund. It's where we have 100% of our donations go to provide tangible help to people in need in our community. In this season, it's been an especially challenging 2025 for people in need in our community, and food insecurity is especially hard. So we have at our Barrington campus, we have a care center, like this facility that is serving so many different guests. And this provides, whether it's, food, whether it's clothing, all sorts of things. But all of our campuses can come together. In our Huntley campus, we have people who serve in this way, but also we have a chance to just give and help fund the ministry so that literally hundreds of thousands of people in our community will get blessed because of our year-end fund initiative that people can give to.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And, we oftentimes talk about giving, and obviously we have an arm of our company called BN Giving. We think it's important. So if you're out there and you're looking to donate to like Willow Creek's year-end fund, you want to help out financially, like go to our website, moneyhourradio.com. You can watch a video about the best ways to give. So if you have a QCD, like if you have a required minimum distribution, that you can save taxes for yourself, but also benefit a church like Willow Creek, plus obviously the people in the community it benefits. Definitely there's ways to do it more efficiently, and we would recommend you take a look at that so you can get your blessings from both the Lord and also the IRS, maybe.
No doubt. Then, so Todd,
Yeah.
Christmas services, big time of year. It's a fun time of year. Can you please talk about our Christmas services coming up? When are they? What people can expect if they attend, even if they haven't been to church in a long time?
Man, this is my favorite part. Christmas is our Super Bowl in the church world, and we just love it. So again, Willow has 6 campuses, and all of our campuses have multiple Christmas services. I can speak to our Huntley campus, but if anyone wants to go to willowcreek.org/Christmas, you can find whatever campus is closest to where you live. But a number of us will have services on Monday night, the 22nd, Tuesday night, the 23rd, and then all throughout the day on the 24th. So, but yeah, in terms of what you can expect is we're actually focusing on the message that the angels gave. And you find just all throughout the Bible, you find that angels had this critical role in the Christmas story, and we're focusing on that. But in terms of what you will experience is, we always say, come as you are. Some people may come in a suit and tie. Some people may even come in shorts. I don't know, the weather probably won't be that nice, but in theory, and we say, hey, come as you are. When you walk in, you'll have experience great music. We'll also have great photo ops, and me and my wife and our 8 and 7-year-old will try to wrangle around and get a nice family photo op that we can share with our family and friends. But then you'll go in and just experience, again, I am biased, but our music is off the chain. It is incredible. Like this year, we're doing what's called a cantata. So it's a blend of just carols and music, probably a lot that will be familiar to you if you've listened to Christmas carols over your life. But in addition to that, there'll be a spoken word. We have different musical artists. Like at Huntley, we have a cellist going on. So it's going to be just this moving experience, probably just a little over an hour. And again, if you have littles, so if they're like under kindergarten age, you can drop your littles off. If you want to do that, you can also bring them with you into the service. Man, it is going to be an incredible experience at all of our campuses. And again, we hope that you will experience the joy that we should all experience at Christmas. And we think that you'll be glad that you came.
We can't wait. Well, we're so proud of Willow for being part of the community. We're so proud of how the church serves the needs of so many in our community, not just spiritually, but actually tangibly as well with the giving initiatives that we discussed before. So if you want to help support this year-end campaign that Todd spoke about, you can give online at willowcreek.org. And if you don't have a church to go to this Christmas, maybe you're new to the area, consider attending one of the services at Willow Creek, one of the campuses near you. You just might find your next church home and community that you've been looking for.
Yeah, and we're running out of time. And of course, if there's something else you're looking for as far as a financial advisor or somebody to at least take a look at your financial situation, help you with retirement, tax planning, estate planning, and of course, investment planning, please reach out to us online, bnwealth.com, or call our office at 847-780-2980. Keep an eye on our website. We've got a big announcement coming up where we're going to have a workshop that you can attend. We're going to bribe you with a delicious meal, a beautiful venue, and you can actually learn about a lot of ways that we can help you with all of this. Sorry, we're out of time. Merry Christmas, everyone. God bless you, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Todd.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Take care.